the ASI 2020 Forum is held online from August 24th to 26th in Charlottetown, PEI, streaming from the unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people, and it's also in French. Yes, we're really excited to be here, and we're also very grateful. And we are also trying to keep that in our mind and also our planning so we can make sure it's inclusive and representative as possible and everything. Yeah. Okay. So now it's time for your introductions because I've talked with some of you via email, but it'll be better to just say hi to you in person today with your screen on or off. So I'm just gonna call on people. I think that's the best way to just know who's there. Okay, so participants, let's go from top to bottom with Alicia, if you would like to start.
Hi, do you see me? Can I just see that outline again? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sure. Give me a moment. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Alicia Christmas, and I am from Eskasoni First Nation. That's in Cape Breton Island. Oh, it disappeared.
Oh.
My pronouns are she, her, and my favorite hobby would have to be
Neat. Okay, thank you very much. Can I just make sure I pronounce your name right? Alicia or?
it's Alicia, but
Alicia. Okay,
very
perfect. Thank
difficult
you.
for people to pronounce. So I'll
That's
listen to
good.
anything.
It's good to know how to. I like your name and it's easy to spell, so it's great. Thank you, Alicia. So the next person I see on my screen is Pierre. You would like to introduce yourself.
Can people hear me? Nice. Okay. Hi, my name is Pierre. I'm from Fredericton in New Brunswick. My pronouns are he or il. My first language is French, and my favorite hobby. I just came back from vacation, so it would be walking on the beach for really long periods of time and hanging out outside.
Thank you so much. That's great. Love the beach. Okay, next person we have is Gabby.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm from St. John, New Brunswick. My pronouns are she, her, and my favorite hobby is crochet.
Neat. Oh my goodness, I would love to learn to crochet one day. Kayla or yeah. I think you might be muted still.
It is. Sorry.
That's okay.
Are we good now? Okay. So Kayla Kelly, I'm from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. My pronouns are she, her, and my favorite hobby would be just getting out with my husky. So lots of walks for her. She's a hyper dog.
Oh, that's so cute. I love dogs. They're great. Thank you so much. Next person we have is on my screen is Louisa.
Hi, my name is Louisa, and I'm from Sydney, Nova Scotia, and my pronouns are she and her. And my favorite hobby will be probably just being in the water. I love the ocean and going swimming so much.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Sakura McLean. I live in PEI, but I'm a Cape Bretoner, right? As I'm sure another two people from Cape Breton know, it's kind of hard to escape the culture. It's definitely part of us. My pronouns are she, her, and I like paddleboarding and spending time with my dog.
Awesome. So cool. Paddleboarding was really fun. I mean, okay, I'm pretty sure most of you seen Outer Banks or heard of it on Netflix, so really got me into at least watching people do it. Thank you. Next on my screen is Emma.
My name's Emma. I'm originally from St. John's, Newfoundland, but I live in Sackville, New Brunswick. My pronouns are she and her, and I love to be outdoors and hiking and enjoying other people's company.
Great. That's so awesome. Thank you. Hiking's fun. It's good for you. And the next person is Erica.
Hi.
Hello.
Erica Bento. I'm from Newfoundland. My pronouns are she and her, and my favorite food's mac and cheese.
Love that. Classic, and you never can go wrong because you can make it anywhere. Next, thank you. Next, we have Julia White.
Yeah, I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland. My pronouns are she, her, and my favorite food is probably craft dinner.
Awesome. Again, classic. You can't go wrong with making it anywhere. Great, thank you. And then we have, okay, let me just see. Screens move around. Zakaria or Zakara D.
Zachariah. Sorry, I just joined in. So, hello, my name is Zachariah. I'm from Fredericton, New Brunswick, and my favorite food is, I would go with shawarma. Shawarma is very good.
Thank you so much. That's great. I just wrote your name down so I could pronounce it correctly. I think as I go forward, I want to make sure Zakara is the way I pronounce it. Again, if you have to correct me, do it so please, because it's a safe space and we also want to learn how to learn new things. And
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thanks. So next we have Sabrit.
Hi, can you guys see me? Okay.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Preet, and I'm from Sydney, Nova Scotia. My pronouns are she and her. My favorite hobby, well, I'm more of an indoor person, so I love watching Netflix, and I specifically watch a lot of documentaries. Yeah, thanks.
Great, thanks, Sabrit. Awesome. I wish I was good at watching documentaries. Sometimes I find it hard to not become invested in their life because I'm like, oh, they're just like me. I'm like, oh wait, I can't relate to some of them. It's gonna be good for that. Let's see. Thanks. And then Natalie.
Hi. Oh, can you see me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Natalie. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. My pronouns are she and her, and my favorite hobby, well, I just love doing everything outside for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much. And nature's great. Michael.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland. My pronouns are he, him, and my favorite food is sushi.
Awesome. That's great. Another classic food. Okay. Let's see. I think I got all of you, but if I didn't, that's good. And please let me know. Okay. If I missed you, I apologize. It was definitely not intentional. And let's move forward if you don't have any questions. So this part is something Jackie has.
Yeah, I just wanted to also say, sorry, my pronouns are she, her as well. And I noticed that Emma has her pronouns in her name. I've been trying to figure out how to switch it and I can't. So maybe if you get a little bit of time later on, it might be nice to try and figure that out or ask Emma how she was able to switch her name and add her pronouns. That's always a good idea. So yeah. So we're going to play a quick icebreaker. It's a little bit tough when we're virtual, but it's a nice way to connect. So the goal is for us to count as high as we can without interrupting each other. So one person will say one, someone else will say two, someone will say three, but every time two or more people say a number at the same time, we have to start over. Sounds a little, you may have played it face to face before, but we're going to just get going and I'm sure you're going to get the hang of it really quick. So I'm going to start and I'm going to say one.
Two.
Three. Oops. Do you have to restart? Okay.
With two people together?
I think so.
Okay, we're going to start over again. One.
Two. Okay, we might have to. I'm gonna keep quiet now.
Hey, listen, I've done this so far virtually. I've had a group make it to 16, so that's what we're aiming for. Let's see how you do it. Get your own personal best. So far, I think all three. So, one,
Two.
One,
two,
three, four.
Oh. Okay, two more tries and then we'll move on because we're a little short for time. One,
two.
I think that was two twos. One,
two.
Okay, you all have a few days to work on this. So two is the personal best, is the ASI team. My hope is that you can get up to at least 3 or 4 in the coming days. Okay. I'm gonna move on to the next slide there, Chantal.
Like at first when I heard the game, counting game, I was like, that seems easy. It's not.
No.
It's great. Okay, so the next part is just going to be a quick overview about ASI. And ASI is, I think, one of the more, just more so focused on mental health and initiatives in Atlantic Canada. And that's because it's just mostly based around mental health and safe and healthy communities. It was founded in 2004, incorporated in 2008, and each year we have around 120 participants at least. It's a really big number, especially for the end of summer. And recently, in the past, I think 5 or so years, there's been the youth program, which we're all a part of. I like it because ASI, although it's mostly known for holding a summer conference, there's also things going around all throughout the year, including workshops and everything. It is bilingual, but myself, I prefer to speak English because my French can be harder for people to figure out if I didn't practice enough. However, with Zoom, there is dual translation and it's great. I tried it. It's really fun to use. And it's intersectoral, and that's an important part as you'll be seeing the next few days. Okay. So a part of the ASI is that we also use the Circle of Health, and this was made by the Quake, which is a consulting company for health. And it just talks about this. These are dials which you can move the physical copy, and it just talks about how, health is not just physical, and it helps you figure out where you are. But for us youth, like why are we part of the youth program? Why is there a youth program to essentially what is a conference, regardless of if it's virtual or not, what are we doing there? And I would say it's because we are the forefront of change. I mean, in the last few years, how many people have become like the faces of literal movements? I would say mostly youth. And I would say youth goes up to age 30. But for us, the youth leadership program goes up to age 25 because a lot of times 25 to 30 is a lot of professional development time. So immediately I think of Greta Thunberg for like the climate activist. I think of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for politics down in the States, but also here, your local MPs, like my local MP is another youth, and he is like 28 years old. His name's Cody Blois. So again, like youth, we are here. And we are at the center of conversation because we are the ones who will be in leadership positions or are already in them. So we want to be involved, right? That's why we got involved here in the first place, because conferences are great, but what makes ASI as a forum so special? Because nice transition is moderating, you get board members and jobs and you get to do cool things. So I'll talk about board member and jobs first, because that's where I come in mostly. But previously, youth participants like to get involved with ASI because not only is it like nice for your resume, it's also actually a good point for you to develop like better mental health promotion skills, but also it's also nice just to work with people who actually want to hear your voice and help make change. So moderating is really neat, and we can talk about that if she is online. If she's not online, then
okay. It helps if I turn my mic on.
Oh, okay.
So now, because we have shifted to WebEx, we have so we're kind of trying to figure out what we're doing with our moderation. I am sacrificing all the computer mice that I have to the computer gods to make sure that Zoom is up and running for our evening session and our daily sessions tomorrow. One of the things that I'm hoping is to have a few volunteers to be WebEx or Zoom, hopefully Zoom moderators. So one of the things now it's really hard to show you what you'd have to do when we're in WebEx instead of Zoom. But one of the things that we'll be looking for you to do in the live session as a moderator is to just to support the session speaker and the session moderator. So you're more of the technical support, making sure that participants mute all their mics, making sure that the recording is turned on, and that the moderator themselves are comfortable with being able to go back and forth between the WebEx or Zoom screen and the Whova to be able to type in the chat and the Q&A during the live session. So even though we're using WebEx or Zoom, what we're hoping is that you're driving all of your chat conversation and your Q&As through Whova, because that holds for the entire conference. So it's a way to continue to engage in the topic, and it's a way so that the conversation is not trapped in a WebEx recording itself. So stay tuned. Chantal, if you're interested in being a moderator, I have 2 or 3 tech moderator. I have 2 or 3 slots open. If we move over to the Zoom, back to our Zoom platform. So if you're interested, fire an email off to Chantal, and we'll get you all figured out.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Again, it's a great way to get involved right away. It's not daunting. You can try it, and if you don't, but there's always so many support persons, so don't worry about not being like a professional moderator off the bat. So next are just some quotes that past participants have written. Emily is a participant. Was a participant last year, but now she's on the board of ASI, and that's an incredible experience. And so there's so many opportunities, and most of the people who attend ASI tend to work in some field that has to do with mental health. And newsflash, that's everything. So it's great. This is my own quote, and I became the youth leadership coordinator, and that's what I think is great about ASI, is that you actually get a chance to give back. And, you know, it's my first conference, and I'm not worried about having lack of knowledge because everyone has mental health and everyone is educated to speak on their experiences. So journaling is the next step. So this was my journal from last year. And most of you have received this in the mail. If you did not, then it will be coming soon. And it's so you can take notes. And the other part is make sure you take time for yourself and checking in. Again, journaling is good for that. It's private, but if you want to share it, make sure you tag ASI because sometimes people have nice pages. And I'm trying to see if I have any nice pages from last year. Well, they're not that nice, but you can always share them and share some knowledge. Great. So this was supposed to be a more collaborative experience using Miro, but Jackie will explain this.
Yeah, so just for time's sake, we're not going to actually use Mural, but for anyone who is familiar or not familiar with Mural, I've put it in the chat here so that you can check it out. It's a really great way to collaborate virtually. You can do brainstorms and work together, team calendars. I know at my work we use Mural to do our team calendar together and do our staff planning days. So, but what we were going to do was get you to just popcorn style talk about ways that you can make a virtual experience, a good experience, because it's so new to us. So yeah, does anyone have any ideas of how can you make this experience good when you're not face to face? How can you make the most of it virtually?
Last year was my first conference. I think overall we should always try to maybe just be aware that if I don't want to necessarily participate, to turn off my microphone. Seems like something simple, but it also makes sense to do.
I think I was actually able to share it. So can you see mine?
Yes.
Good. Okay. It does work. Any other thoughts?
I think one of the things we can do is if someone is not comfortable in speaking, they can always write something in chat and just post over there. And, one of us, maybe Chantal or like one of us, we can just, speak it out loud. This is something that someone has shared in the chat, and that would make sure that even they are feeling comfortable and included.
That's a great one. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Any other thoughts?
One thing, I'm going to turn on my camera. Hi. One thing I found, I participated in a training at the end of March that was supposed to be in person, but it was online. And I don't know if WebEx has a feature like this, but on Zoom we use breakout rooms a lot. It was really helpful just to be able to, in a smaller group, and that sometimes that makes people more comfortable to share. So if that's an option at some point.
It was one of our plans for this morning, but we'll see. Yeah. We might end up doing it till we get Zoom back. So yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah. I want to add to, it's okay to still like honor the fact that you might need a bathroom break or a glass of water. If you were face to face, you would, it's acceptable to leave a room, but sometimes when the camera's on us all the time, we feel like we can't leave. So it's okay to take a little break if you need it. Anything else?
So it's Kathy Leslie. I am a board member with ASI and have been both a participant and a board member for many years, actually. I have to say that as the board representative with the youth program, I've watched this program evolve and grow and become very, very beneficial to everyone, not just the youth, to all the other participants. So I just wanted to encourage all our youth participants and for the youth program to also continue with the concurrent sessions and all the other things that are going to come up, starting with this evening's beginning and start. So that's all I wanted to say. And I want to welcome each and every one of you, whether it has to be online or not. It's going to be a good session, hopefully.
Okay, I feel like there's a lot more, but I just want to be conscious of time here, since we were a little late starting. But I think, yeah, it's okay to turn your camera off if you need to. It can be really hard to look at yourself all day and be on all the time. It's okay to still doodle if that's helps you keep your focus. Yeah, you can, if you connect with some people, use the chat, give positive affirmations to each other. If you're talking about a program or a platform, drop the website in the link. Ask each other questions in the chat. That's always a really great way to connect. Yeah, and still just ask each other questions and participate as best as you can, and also recognize that it can be a little bit hard to connect this way sometimes too. So it's okay to kind of take a breather if you need it. But definitely, as Kathy said, taking part in as many of the sessions as you can will definitely help you retain some stuff and walk away with a good experience. Back to you, Chantal.
Thanks, Jackie. Like I said last time, this was my first conference. ASI was my first adult conference in the sense that I was actually going to be participating in workshops by actual industry people. And that's kind of, well, for me at least, it's like kind of like I made my first big person steps. And at the same time, I kind of felt maybe what if I wasn't qualified to like ask a question in the workshop? But then quickly I realized like everyone wants to help you, and make sure you ask questions, because no question, like I said before, is a bad question. Questions can be great, but you know, if you don't ask, you never know. So just go ahead and ask right away, because something for university or entering university students, it might even help your essays. You never know. So take that leap of faith. Thank you. And then let's move on to the next part. So most of you have sent me photos and captions, and we took some time to make a really pretty gallery art slideshow. And we were going to split us into groups so we can view it just, you know, in our groups to really have a good discussion. But unfortunately, Zoom is not working right now. So I'll share my other PowerPoint and I'll just combine the two so we can just present to everyone. Again, if you didn't send it in, that's okay. Just send it to me via, again, phone, WebEx, or just share your own screen. That way we can just see your gorgeous photography or your fun or your silly photography. So anything works. Okay, so this was taken by Kayla. If you would like to explain
Beautiful. Oh, sorry. I just had a call for work.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
So the people from Cape Breton probably are familiar with the Highlands. I was lucky enough to get there last week. So do you want me to just read what I wrote there, or?
Whatever's easiest for you. Yeah.
So when traveling through the Cape Breton Highlands, you notice the mountains and the oceans along the twists and turns of the road ahead. This made me think how everyone has their own path and obstacles to overcome. The mountains made me realize the highs and the lows each person endures, and how, with support of a good leader, can make the foggy days much more clear. So this is something I've noticed while doing, I'm a program coordinator and I run employability workshops, and I find everyone comes in feeling really bad about themselves and not being able to say anything good about themselves. And then they end up leaving with all these great qualities, and they're able to kind of really see the confidence grow as the program evolves. And I always say something similar like this in their graduation ceremonies. So I thought it was kind of very, very convenient to kind of mention during this conference.
Thank you so much, Kayla. This is great. I love the word painting and stuff as well. Okay, so Stacy unfortunately had to step out for just this session. She said this is her photo. It's really lovely as well. She says, walking outdoors in nature clears my mind of any negativity and helps my mental health. Breathing in that fresh air really helps me relax and de-stress. That's awesome. Okay. Sophie?
So I shared this photo that I took at, I was actually at Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick, which is, I'm sure people are familiar with it. So I live in Moncton now, but I'm originally from northern New Brunswick, so closer to the beach and water. So although I'm not as close to that in Moncton, I like to get to the beach. It's definitely helps my mental health. So I wrote that mental health and leadership go hand in hand. As we all know, you can't pour from an empty cup. So going to the beach is one way that I can recharge and take time for myself.
Thank you so much, Sophie. One thing I will say is all of you just take really nice photographs. Alicia?
So I took this picture from the top of, we have a mountain in Eskasoni, and at the top there's a cross. And up here we have like, we're a religious community, so we have stations of the cross. I think there's about 14 crosses total, and it's a very challenging hike, but it's so worth it to get to the top because you get to see over the Bredor Lakes and all of Eskasoni. And I just think that when you overcome some obstacles in life, you're able to look back and see how far you came along, what worked and what didn't. And that's exactly what you do with hiking too.
Yeah, that's great. Sorry about that, but this is a gorgeous photo. Thank you so much. I love how I love trees, and it's great.
Too.
Yeah, trees are awesome. So Vita is not currently online, I don't think. She's from, I assume, Toronto, because she says she lives there, so I'm just gonna read it out. This picture reminds me of positive mental health because of the calming waters and beautiful landscapes in Toronto. It makes me grateful to live in such a beautiful city. It's really pretty. Again, common theme with water and nature, just fantastic. Natalie.
So this picture was actually just taken right outside my house, and it was when everything with COVID was just starting up, and I was finishing up my senior year, so it was a pretty hectic time. So in the busy times leading up to university, sometimes I need to remind myself to slow down and appreciate the little things. No matter how stressful life gets, nature will always be there to enjoy.
Aww, that's so sweet. I love your cat.
Thank you.
Also, that's a beautiful view outside your home.
Thank you.
Yeah. So next is Erica. As a foodie, I love food. So
this is just a cooked supper I did one time, and cooking really makes me happy. So it's just cooking healthy, tasty food makes me happy and reminds me that a balanced diet represents good mental health. I'm always my happiest when I cook. So yeah.
Awesome. I've been trying to make interesting dishes with interesting ingredients. My family doesn't appreciate it, but yours looks great. And food is great.
Yeah, I try not to go too wild.
Yeah, that makes sense. Emma.
Hi. I guess I had the kind of the same idea as a lot of other people with landscape. So this picture reminds me of positive mental health because positive mental health is not a destination but a journey to maintain. Bumps, hills, and rugged terrain are all a part of the mental health experience. Furthermore, is how we cope with these bumps and taking steps back to process the beauty of their journey, which overall can turn into a positive, beautiful picture. Yeah.
Awesome. That's, again, all of you are like Shakespeare, just so poetic and everything. And that's a lovely photo. Oh, that's the end of show. Okay, let's go to the next one. So there's two groups, and then let me share my screen again. Okay. So, Julia. Oh, right. Julia had to step out. So, again, Julia really liked this photo. She said, I really like this photo because I remember how relaxed I felt on this trip. It reminds me to slow down every once in a while and check in with myself, which I think is important for my own mental health, and it allows me to cope with the busyness of everyday life. Again, a really nice photo. Corey.
Alrighty. So this is a picture that was taken of me when I was invited to do a speech outside my the PEI legislative office in support of a green bill. It represents good mental health to me, as you mentioned earlier, but Prince Edward Island did not have any environmental activist groups when I moved here at all. There was one, but it was that was kind of national, and they also had a branch, but they were known for getting really like rambunctious and holding up traffic and bordering on violent. So there was no way I wanted to be a part of that. So me and my younger sister, we started a local Fridays for Future branch, and we organized a couple rallies and stuff like that. And a big journey for me, as I suffer from depression. And when I was first diagnosed a couple years ago, global warming and the actions that were being taken were a large trigger for me. So for me, starting these groups, realized that I could do something and influence and change and be a leader. And then when I moved to PEI, there wasn't an opportunity really to do this other than starting my own. So this was just a really important moment because it felt like I had made it. I was at a point where I didn't have to organize the rallies anymore. Right here, I was kind of talking about how the environment is not a passion of mine at all, as many people would assume. Like, it's something that I feel like I have to do, more like an obligation. I'm not passionate about environmental activism. Like, environmental activism is just something that needs to happen. It's just a moment where I was like, I've done my part, I've done enough. Like, this is where I am. This has made me a better leader, to the point where I'm being invited to things. And you could just really see how, with the progression of my mental, like the progression of the activism group, my mental health improved. And to the point where here, I wasn't feeling bad, I was feeling confident, I was feeling strong, because my mental health had improved a lot because of my actions, but also I had been invited, and it wasn't something that I had to push by myself, and that felt really, really good.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That is yeah, that's amazing what you do, and like that is great. Sorry, I just read the chat. But yeah, like that is so amazing how you did what you could and then you worked at it and you continuously just tried your best and then it came out to be something that inspired so many people. Super inspiring. And then
Thank you very much.
no problem. Thank you. So next one is Gabby's.
So my photo is a photo that was taken at the Buskers on the Bay Festival in St. John. So sometimes you have to rely on others in order to be able to do amazing things in life, and sometimes for positive mental health, you need to lean on others or let others lean on you for support.
Oh my, yeah, when I first saw this photo, I was like, oh my goodness, that is hard. But then I read your caption and I was like, oh, now I see why. Life gets easier when you have others for support. And I really like how that's so beautifully written. Next one is Simran's. Not sure if Simran is here. Okay, I'll just read it then. I'm someone who's terrified of the water, but my safe space is definitely beaches, which I know is a total contradiction. I like hearing the sound of the waves. It's as if they tune out any negative voice inside my head. The smell wakes me up and makes me feel so much more present in the moment. Contradictions are great. We live them, so. And also lovely photo. Thank you, Simran. So this is Kier's.
Yeah, so that was a picture I took when I was does anyone know the program Kitimovic? No? Yes? It's a youth program for youths all across Canada, and it allows you to travel to two different communities, and you're put together with a group of 11 young people from all across Canada. And I had the chance to travel to Calgary, and I lived there for 3 months. And in the crazy mechanic of living together with 8 or 10 people always around in the house is a crazy learning experience. And in one of my free weekends, I had time to go to Banff, which I really wanted to. And it was such a really majestic mountains, and the mountains were just really like flabbergasting and quiet. So it was really good to like recharge and go outside like almost all day. And but yeah, so Kitimovic allowed me to travel in Calgary and in Quebec City, so that was really great. And I really love I can plan myself a nice day outside, and that was great. So
Thanks so much, Pierre. It's such a gorgeous photo. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. It looks like my computer's background images. So it's like gorgeous photo, gorgeous caption, and so glad you could share with us about Kitimovic. So this is Michael's photo.
Yeah, so I attached a picture of a waterfall. This was actually taken just a few weekends back. I had the opportunity to hike Grossmore National Park, and this waterfall was one of the hidden sites at one of the hikes that I was on. So I do believe maybe some of my text was cut off, but I wrote a lot. But I think what I was essentially trying to say in that was waterfalls are something I've always admired, as they're something that continuously flows and changes in the process. Like any strong leadership, I've had the chance to explore my provinces, Newfoundland and Labrador, to greater depths this summer. So hidden beauties along the way, like waterfalls, are what makes these adventures especially worthwhile. And since seeing Niagara Falls at the age of 7, I've been fascinated by the sight, and to this day, they've been a constant symbol of my childhood and something to essentially enjoy life from. So
Yeah, so sorry about that. I think I was trying to format and cut off. The rest of it reads, and something that continuously flows and changes in the process, like any strong leader. Thanks so much, Michael. This was such a beautiful photo. Oh my
yeah, thank
goodness,
you.
I literally just want to take all your photos and put it as my computer backdrop. Gorgeous.
And also commenting on all the pictures that everyone has shared. They're beautiful. It looks like you all are professional photographers. Like, what's up? Your pictures are so perfect and beautiful. Yeah, it was so nice to see all of them. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that page, but like send it in if you would like to, or just text it or hoop of it. Anything works. So now I would think it's important just to go over what are some of the common themes and stuff in our photographs.
Can I
Yeah.
can I say something?
Oh yeah, sure. Just click share your screen.
Where am I screen?
I might just talk with you to get your photo and also just to make sure I have your actual contact info. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. So glad you could join us from
Montreal,
Montreal.
Quebec.
Yes, so excited. So thanks for that. I'm gonna go to next slide, but it's basically the same information. So let's do a little debrief. I think we were maybe also using this time to like reflect on like what common things we have apart from mental health and good mental health and leadership. Like there's probably some buzzwords we can come up with. Okay, I'll start maybe. So I think many of the photos, there seemed to be an element of nature. And I think we turn to nature as a way to rejuvenate ourselves and really focus on connecting the physical and the mental aspects of our mental health, as well as the spiritual and physical aspects. So go ahead.
If I can, yeah, I was gonna say in all the pictures when we were asked to represent positive mental health, no one, well, we all showed something that was not like a materialistic value or a possession of ours. It was mostly nature's or a beautiful landscape or inspiring things for us, and not, I don't know, objects or physical objets.
Yeah,
Choses-
no, that's great.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that shows some I don't know, maturity or hopeful for good values.
yeah, I totally agree. And I was surprised too, because the first thing I thought of when doing it was of trees, because I have trees outside my window. But again, like we were talking about, not necessarily our phones or something we can hold in that sense, but something that we can connect with on a deeper level, which is fantastic.
I wonder, it's Jackie here. I wonder it'd be interesting to see if we flip the question around and asked what is something that represents like unhealthy mental health. We'd probably get all phones and technology and social media, possibly. Maybe, maybe not.
We have the time. Let's play the devil's advocate. You can comment it in the chat. Just be cognizant. I can't, as I'm presenting full screen, I can't really see if you are saying something in the chat or not as best as possible. So just say it.
I definitely agree with that. I think if you asked us to like show us what represents like negative mental health, like I know for me it would definitely be social media. I don't have any social media accounts anymore, as when I did, I became extremely addicted and narcissistic and was not myself and was just very unhappy with them. And I definitely saw such a large change in myself when I stopped using social media accounts. So for me, they're almost like a dangerous thing. Like I don't, it's really hard for me to moderate that, so I choose not to use them.
Interesting. Thank you, Spree. I think that's pretty sure that's sorry, who said that?
It was me.
Oh, sorry, Sakira. Sorry about that. Saw the right thing, but yeah, that's so interesting. Does anyone have something similar?
I personally have something similar to her too. I don't have any social media accounts, only to use them for work. And I like it like that. It's very nice to disconnect and actually meet people in person and do things the old way. And yeah, it's pretty good. And I think sometimes we kind of pressure each other on social media on social medias without even having the intention to do it. Uh, uh, for example, let's say I had a nice meal yesterday, and then I take a photography of it, and let's say you only had eggs, and then you'd be like you start doing a comparison without even knowing it, right? And then imagine how many friends you have in your account, and then you'd be like, oh my god, people are having a better life than me, right? So we don't do it, I think, on purpose. We just naturally compare or see what they say, the grass is green on the other side. So I think social media, this is what social media has been to me. So I like to keep it, one on one, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Pierre.
I heard something really good the other day in relation to the grass is greener comment about how maybe once in a while we just need to try to make our own grass greener instead of chasing someone else's grass.
It's also nice to sometimes just embrace your grass being yellow.
Yeah. Or like the dust is fun to play in sometimes too. Very true.
I totally agree. Yeah, like for me, like again, like similar to you and both of you, like I use social media mostly now, just mostly for work because I love social media because I think it's so cool. Like I would have not found about ASI if it wasn't for social media or some form of social platform. Like even the news, I consider CBC a social media platform because they do that type of stuff now too. But I mean, at the same time, it can be I don't like the word toxic because, it's just very toxic work. But I think at the same time, we have to be making sure my mental health is great. And so, again, like I don't really use my own account unless it's for just connecting with others or finding out cool projects. Keep these thoughts coming. We're going to the next part of our session because we have like 9 minutes left. Because later on today we have a session with the lovely Kathy Leslie, who introduced herself earlier. We're doing learning circles, and keep those questions and those comments to maybe write them down even, because tomorrow morning we'll have more learning circles and debriefs, as well as I think a lot of politicians and workshops will be focusing on social media, especially during the age of quarantine. So in order for us to make sure our voices are heard and for the people to consider us, we must speak out and or type in the chat.
Hi, it's Kathy Leslie. I just wanted to, Sorry, I just wanted to really suggest that you do try to take notes and use those notebooks as much as you can, because they'll be very valuable when we get to the learning circles. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to do the learning circles unless we have Zoom, but we'll figure it out. And it's really a good opportunity for the youth to learn from themselves and to think about things they want to take forward to the other sessions that are happening in the next couple of days. Just want to plug it away because it's very, very valuable, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so the last part is the youth collective. I'm a music student. I'm going to my third year at Acadia, which is in Nova Scotia. And I am a piano major, actually, so I play piano. But apart from that, I love, again, like social media can be cool. I discovered Billie Eilish, which introduced me to becoming more interested in music creating, using like GarageBand and stuff. So on that note, I think we don't need to sing, but I was thinking maybe we can take snippets of just our talks and the sessions and put it into kind of like a documentary, like The Office or Parks and Rec or your favorite type of sitcom, but in an ASI sense where we kind of put together some of our favorite memories along with photos and also just a documentary about our whole ASI experience as youth participants with background music. And that reminds me to make sure we take a screenshot of the youth participants at the end. Some of us are missing, so maybe we'll do that right now, and I'll do it through my computer. Give me a moment. Gonna have to stop. Okay, if you want to turn on your camera, feel free to do so. If you don't want to turn it on, that's fine too. Again, we know who you are and we love you the way you are. And if you want to fix your hair like me, perfect time. Okay, I have a Mac, so I'm using the screen. There we go. Are we ready for a photo? Great, so 3, 2, 1. Excellent, and one more, because just in case I messed up. Oh, thanks, Noel. Great, thank you so much. I'm gonna go back to sharing this screen now. And then this is, I think, something that Jackie would maybe like to explain.
It was a bit of a slow start with technology, but I think it just, speaks to everyone being adaptable. So thank you for that. Yeah, so just one word in terms of like how you're feeling or what you hope to get from ASI. And we're going to put it into a Mentimeter later on for you, and I'll send it back to Chantal. Would anyone like to start? Or even just drop a word in the chat if you don't feel like talking out loud.
Well, I think I can start. So I actually have 2 words. So the first word would be definitely to learn. I think I have a lot to learn when it comes to mental health, and I think ASI is a great platform and resource to learn. And second would be to get inspired to do something in the field of mental health. I do work with lots of clients who do deal with mental health issues, and I just really want to be able to help them better and to just get inspired to bring new initiatives which better fit our clientele and in general people we meet on a daily life. So I would say learn and inspire.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yes, I would like to add one thing now, if you allow.
Thank you. Sorry, what was the word?
I said I would like to take la parole to add something.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Thank you. So that was great what the young lady have mentioned earlier. Being myself in medicine and social health and prevention, I think if there is anything that I would like to leave with today is to maybe remind myself and others that mental health is closer than we think to us. We sometimes we're just not aware because life is so, everything is going so fast, our responsibilities and so on. But if we look only in front of us or on the side, we can tell that someone is struggling. So I think this kind of workshop and forum allow us to understand or to be able to identify the triggers so that we reach out to someone who might need help in silence. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
I have a word as well. So with my job, I like to empower people. So I think with all the knowledge I'm going to gain throughout this conference, I think I'll be able to much help the clients that I deal with to help them empower, to be more confident, and to kind of make sure their mental health is in check along the way. So empower would be my word to add.
Thank you.
I think that like the importance of nature is kind of something we should try in there as well. I think this session has really just kind of solidified the fact that nature can be extremely important to other people's mental health and our own mental health and mental well-being. I mean, so many studies that say being outdoors, being outside, and spending that time there is super beneficial. And I think we just solidify that, like, yes, it is 100% true, and made that kind of known as a group. And I think that's something we could share as well.
It's a good one, nature. Thank you. And Gabby, for you, I put voice. Is that okay? I feel like that sort of represents a bit what you've put there. Good. Perfect.
For
Anyone
me,
else?
my word would just be, for me, my word would just be better. So that's the word me and my coworkers use a lot. It's just being open to learn and change, and like the areas where I'm very my knowledge about certain areas of mental health is not where it's supposed to be. So I'm interested in being open to learn new things and just be better overall.
That's good. Thank you, Louisa. Any other additions?
Hi, Nawal. Can I add something?
Of course.
We haven't spoken about stigmatization and how it is important also to have people be aware about mental health issues, the reasons behind, and so on, which is promotion, to maybe work on the way people perceive them. So we'll have more people reaching out for help. This is very important, especially
Thank you.
nowadays. Thank you.
And we got excited from Natalie in the chat there, so thank you. And then a second for excited from Sophie.
I would put the word down, soothing. I find it quite soothing to just listen to other people's talk and maybe reflect, and plugging Kathy again. writing in my journal. But I think soothing is a good way to also just be like listening, auditing, but feeling like I don't need to contribute unless I have something to contribute.
Perfect. And I also see a motivational in the chat there. So thank you for that. Anyone else who hasn't spoke yet? Any words you want to throw in there? Oh, a second there for motivational ×2.
I think for a lot of us, it's also learning how to use the online platforms, as it was for all during the pandemic, because it is very different from being in the same room, and I think the mechanics of who's going to start to talk when is a lot more difficult when you're not in person.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that we're starting early today, and then we'll have 2 more days coming up, so we'll be great at it in no time.
Yeah. It's a big shift. After 3 months of doing things online, I had my first session last week where I actually cried. Like I finally made a session where like we were able to connect to the point that I had tears, and I was like, it's possible. We can connect.
I'm also feeling very hopeful. I'm always so excited to be like in the same space with individuals who have similar mindsets and always moving in the same direction towards making change. So I guess another word for what I'm feeling right now is hopeful.
It's a nice one. Thank you, Louisa. Okay, so I think I'm done anyway, Chantal. I don't want to take up more time.
Yeah, right. I think Natalie just wrote in growth, which is great. But yes, let's stop for now. If you have them, text it to me or Hoover it, whatever, and we'll make sure we get it in.
Okay, I have a few tech notes before we end. Yes. So the link to the next session, there's a short break if I'm correct, and then there's the link to the next session will be found on Hoover, the same place you found the Zoom links from before. So if you go into session 2 and click view session, there'll be something that says view live stream. So that's how you'll get into the next session. And the chat in WebEx will be turned off for the next session to encourage you to chat in Hoover, just so we can keep that, because right now all of that lovely brainstorming we've just done is trapped inside a WebEx recording. And so I'll copy the chat, but I'd like it to be on Hoover just so we can look back at it a little bit later. So those are my tech notes. If you have any trouble at all, email Chantal and myself and we'll get you into the meeting.
And this is Wendy. I want to apologize for not having our French simultaneous translation through WebEx. We had it all set up ready to go with JC. We're hoping that Zoom will get itself back live again. And so continue to use the links that are directly in the Hoover site as things fix or got to use the new pandemic word pivot. We will make sure that those links will get you where you need to go.
Great. Any final comments? Please say them so we can end it, so you can have a quick break. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll regroup, and thank you for bearing with us. Session 2 is with Jillian, and you'll love her. So, bye.